Yeah, done. There we go. Hello and welcome. We're just trying to get it all working. So, Furious Macron tells European firms to freeze billions in US investment. Furious Macron tells Europeans. So, they're cutting. They're going to be cutting investment to the US in favour is China. Slave labour is strange. It does confuse me that every single country has a problem with slave labour, unless it's for them. Everyone else goes back to slavery and says, oh, slavery was a bad thing. And now you go, oh, well, what about slavery today? What about slavery in China, South Africa, Africa, and other countries? And they go, well, what's that got to do with me? Well, you're complaining about slavery 200 years ago, but you don't mind slavery when it's for you, for your stuff. And this is the thing that makes me giggle about the world. It's okay for them, but not for us. I don't think anyone should be used as a slave. I think you should all get a fair wage. I also think that when you go to a job, especially in the West, and you agree to a contract, that is your contract. You have a choice. That's not slavery, that is a choice. You can choose to go and work in that job, or you can choose not to work in that job. I've turned down lots of jobs because the wage was too low. When I've gone there, they've said it was one price, and then when I've gone there, they've gone, oh well, now we're getting so many people that want the job. They've offered to take a lower salary to get the job, so that's what we're offering. That's not how the world should be. But it happens. It happens all over, and everyone's moaning about the tariffs. I'm not sure if I think we've already done that, but we'll talk about tariffs as well a bit later. China is urging the European Union to join forces against Donald Trump. Okay, so you're willing to do a free trade deal with China, but not the US, who pays for most of your protection across Europe. And this is how stupid it is. And most people don't realise that there was tariffs on the US from Europe, UK, and other countries before Trump even put them on there. But they go, oh, well, that was fair because we're protecting our farmers. So it's fair when England, China, France, Spain, the European Union, and other countries put tariffs on the US to protect their farmers. But when the US does it, oh, they're taking us to war because they're trying to take our money. Two-faced or what? Let's not muck around. Let's just call it two-faced, what it is. And people are upset about that. I don't think anyone should be upset about that. Your country should come first. It's as simple as that. Every taxation in each country should go to their people first. Until their people are whole, that means got a home, got warmth, got a job, and can look after themselves, your money shouldn't leave your country. I don't care, and before people get upset saying, oh, you want to say that if it's for this country, I don't care what country it's for. I don't care if it's for Israel, Palestine, Russia, Ukraine, Italy. It does not matter. Your country should come first, second, and third. If you've got children in poverty in your own country, why are you trying to save a third world country from poverty? You can't do both. And people that go, oh, well, you've got some of the richest people in your world. Most people don't know the difference between wealth and worth. And that is our problem at the moment. People think worth and wealth are the same thing. Anything else in this story, shall we see? We'll be coming on to the stock market later because that's a load of crap as well. Macron couldn't protect himself. He's an idiot. Absolutely useless idiot. The one thing that I do like Trump for is he said what he was going to do. He was going to put America first, and that's what he's done. I think that's about all for this one. Alright, let's go on to the next story. Oh, this is The Andrew Tate saga continues. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Right, so we listen to what his missus is going to say, and I think the sound might work.
I was scared to death. I loved this person, and I thought, oh my god, my life is flashing before my eyes. I was completely terrified.
So she was terrified because her life was flashing before her eyes, because she was having rough sex with a man that she knew liked rough sex. Oh, but she didn't agree to it. Well, she did agree to it because, as she said in another interview, that she's done it loads of times with him. So, if she knew what he liked, but this time something went wrong, and it does go wrong. People have even died doing it. But because of that, she feels like she's been raped or abused, because she's changed her story about 500 times. And I don't. Tates wouldn't like me. I'm a fat git. I was going to swear then. A fat git. But I don't care. I'm not saying that I've got to like Tates and they've not got to like me. I haven't got to agree with the Tates. I don't agree with a lot of people. My opinions are my opinions. I'm not following someone else's opinions. And if that upsets people, it upsets people. But half of these stories you read about the Tates, it takes about a minute to look through and realise it's a load of crap. She got upset because he wouldn't spend thousands on her to fly privately to go and see him, and she's his baby and she should be a baby princess. No. And the problem is, with women like this making up stories, and she's making it up, it's as simple as that. It's a load of crap. It actually destroys the women that come forward and actually have been abused, have been raped. And I know people like that. I've helped people like that. I've got in trouble because of that. I had my back broke because I helped someone. Me and another friend was stopping someone getting beat up. I got my back broke. It happens. But you've got to try and do the right thing. Do women never lie? Of course women lie. Everyone lies. I lie, you lie. Everyone on the population lies. Have you seen the governments in every country? That's really all I've got to say on this. I think some of it's crap. I haven't seen everything on the Tate brothers. I know a lot of the charges have been dropped, even though they say they haven't. But talking to people from Romania, one lives about 2 minutes away from me, and he was back in Romania. He's just got back. And even he says, even over there, they think it's a load of crap. And with what happened with the government, as they said, a lot of Romanian people are now disillusioned with the government, with the justice system. So, yeah. I think Romania's got a lot more problems to come in the next 6 to 8 months. So, let's go and see about Russell Brand next. So, we've got the Russell Brand story. I don't know if this is keyed up. No, that's not the Russell Brand story.
Hello.
There we go.
Firstly, thank you for these incredible and overwhelming messages of support. We're very fortunate in a way to live in a time where there's so little trust in the British government. We're very fortunate, I suppose, that
there's no trust in the British government.
We know that the law has become a kind of weapon.
Political weapon.
To be used
100%.
against people, institutions, and sometimes entire nations that will not accept and tolerate levels of corruption that are unprecedented. I'm speaking particularly to those of you that are watching this in the UK. How do you feel about your legal system right now? How do you feel about some of the high-profile cases that are not being pursued and prosecuted? How do you feel that the Southport murders were handled? How do you feel about the government of Keir Starmer?
They hid a lot.
That's just sort of general context. I've always told you guys that when I was young and single, before I had my wife and family, with just about a shot over there, my beautiful children, I was a fool, man. I was a fool.
And we've all been that when we were young.
Like the Lord. I was a drug addict,
I don't believe in all the good stuff.
An imbecile. But what I never was a rapist. I've never engaged in non-consensual activity. I pray that you can see that by looking in my eyes. I want to thank all of you for your continuing support. I want to let you know that our show will be on Rumble on Monday. Thanks for your support there. And of course, I'm now going to have the opportunity to defend these charges in court, and I'm incredibly grateful for that. In the meantime, you lot, stay free, and we will be continuing to discuss this matter.
So, everyone that knew Russell Brand or of Russell Brand back in the past knew what he was like. He was a drug addict, alcoholic, sexaholic. He admitted that. He admitted that he was deranged, but he still had women throw themselves at him. And the thing is, now you've got someone that's come forward to say, oh, well, he needed to rape me because he blah, blah, blah. And it's like most of the time you can tell it's just rubbish. And you ask simple questions. Was you drugged out your brain when this happened? Yep. Can you remember it? Well, I remember saying no. Well, what else do you remember about it? Well, I can't remember nothing. So you're both drugged out your brain. You both did something you probably both regret now. But you class it as rape because you say you think you remember saying no during or after, but you don't remember nothing else about the night, hours before, hours after, hours during. To me, that's just regret. That's someone coming forward after saying, I did something that I regret, or he didn't call her back or that, which is pathetic and it's getting worse. But I hope, to be honest, I hope it comes out that he didn't do it, or he did. I don't really watch Russell Brand. He's too much of a god basher. Does my nothing. Let's be honest. God bashing, any religion, sitting there telling you people you've got to believe in a certain religion or a certain way just because it was their religion, to me is not interesting at all. Religions and that are, it's just not my thing. Right, let's go to our next story. Once we've got some people in here, more people in here, and we're all talking, and we go back and forth, the stories will last longer, and we'll have more of a chat, people. Ex-Reform MP Rupert Lowe has his guns collected, seized by police after party accused him of harassment. God, here we go. Let's have a look for it. Ex-Reform MP Rupert Lowe has had his personal gun collection seized by police after he was expelled from the party over bullying, which none of the allegations have been proven at all. So let's get that clear. Rupert Lowe is innocent till proven guilty, like anyone else. Like the Tates, like Russell Brand, like anyone. Unless you get caught in the act, and then I don't care what case you're going to, you're guilty. Right. The Great Yarmouth MP has repeatedly denied the allegations, and there has been no proof at all. Other than someone said it, they want to stay anonymous because it could hurt their feelings. No. Right. So, the Great Yarmouth MP has repeatedly denied the allegations and accusation party veteran Nigel Farage as a malicious witch hunt. Which I don't even think Nigel knows what's going on, to be honest. I think Nigel lost control of that party a long time ago. And that's a sad thing to say. I think Hussein Yusuf, or whatever his name is, Useless Yusuf, is a lot of the problems. He jumps party to party to the party that he thinks he's going to get power with. He wants the power. He doesn't care about the party. He doesn't care about the people. He wants to be in the background, and that's all he cares about. Right. So, speak to the Daily Mail, news, blah, blah, blah. Police seizure. Mr. Lowe said, I'm 67 years old and have a 67-year-long unblemished record from the law. These are false allegations designed to maliciously smear my name and ruin my reputation after I dared to bruise Farage's ego, which 100%. That was because old Elon put out a message saying that Lowe would make a better PM than him. So Farage got up on his high horse and started kicking off with Lowe. It's all weaponisation. Everyone in his office has released statements saying that Lowe is a nice person, he's a gentleman. An independent review, a lawyer paid for by Reform, works for Reform, says the investigation protocol has procedures for statements on behalf of complainants following the lengthy Telegraph interview, which she won't talk to Rowe. Reform has deployed woke HR lawfare to smear not only my name but my reputation, which is not lying, going far as publicly naming them. I think in this case, like many others, if the person who wants to stay anonymous, the case should be dropped. You shouldn't have the right to hide away and be a coward. If you can't say, yes, he did this to me at this point, and stand up in the court and say it, or stand up to the people and say it, then what is the point? It's just disgraceful at the moment. It's just terrible the way that people are doing it. It's just the way that you can say anything and stay anonymous and people think that it's true. And we're supposed to believe it. Any story now that says an anonymous source said, the first thing that I think of when it says anonymous source is we're lying and making this up. Right, next one. 5 years of Keir Starmer. God help the country. I don't even think we're going to get 4. I think what they're going to do is swap out to Angela Rayner halfway through because they know they can never win with him as the leader again. Hang on, let me move because my back's killing. Yeah, I think that halfway through they're going to swap out to Angela Rayner and hope that she gets the woman vote, shall we say, the woman vote. I think Angela Rayner is not a leader. She took the knee to the Islamic community to get her spot. She's not going to be voted in again in her own constituency. They're actually running independent Muslims, and she's lost. It was a close call this time. I think probably about 70% of Labour have lost their seats already. I'm actually surprised people haven't gone to do the call to get rid of their MPs, especially the way that they're treating the elderly, the disabled, and stuff like that. I know a lot of people that are on disability because they've got problems. One of them's got Crohn's and other bowel diseases, and they've told him that he's got to go for a re-medical next year, and he probably won't get his full benefits because he hasn't got the full 4 points in every area. I know another one that hasn't been outside for 10 years now, and they've told him that he's got to go outside and get a job because not being able to go outside is not a disability anymore. I actually know someone that went on to PIP, went to a PIP interview in a wheelchair because she's got no legs. And when she had the medical, I know I shouldn't laugh. It said on the medical that she walks into the office, could stand and walk on her own without any aid. She's got no legs. She had something wrong with her when she was ill. She doesn't really talk about it. And she's got no legs from the waist, like from the knees down. She can't stand up and walk. And then when they got to the tribunal, which took 8 months, the 3 people sitting there went, "When did you lose your legs?" And she was like, "When I was a child." And they went, "But you walked into the office and sat down and could do the standing tests, the bend down to your toes test." And she was like, "Well, I can reach my toes quite easy because I haven't got any." And it is quite funny, but to them it took her 9 months to get there, and I think it took them 10 minutes to find that she could get the disability and Pip to help her. And this is what this country's come to. Even though you've got the disability, you've got it on paper, your doctor said it, medical, like, that have been looking after you for years, you've got a 30-minute to 40-minute interview. Some of them last 10, 15 minutes. And that's it. They can tell you, yes, you've got this, A, B, C. Even with medical evidence, sometimes they go, "Oh, well, that's not important enough to us. It's our decision." But yeah, I don't think Keir Starmer will last that long. I don't think that a lot of Labour will last that long. They probably will last till the next election because most cowards won't go and push them out. But there's nothing really more that we can do. Let's go down and look through what other rubbish Keir Starmer's got up to. 5 years after being elected Labour leader, the majority of Britons are unclear what Keir Starmer stands. I don't think he stands for anything. I think that Keir Starmer would turn on a dime for power. I think Keir Starmer would support Hamas if he thought that it would get him a vote. And I think that's what most of Labour stands for. And to be honest, that's what most of the other MPs stands for. Tories are just as bad. Nigel, you can't really say about the Reform Party members because he's got 5 of them. 2p Lee swaps. Sorry, is it 2p Lee? I can't remember what it is. 60p Lee? I don't know. 20p Lee? I don't know. He keeps changing his name with inflation. It goes down. I think he'd swap party tomorrow if he thought that he was going to keep his job. He's been, I think, nearly every party. He's just got to go to Lib Dems and the Greens. But to be honest, you'd have to be nuts to go to them. I think that one's it. Right, let's go to the next. So we got any more stories? I don't think we've got any more stories off the Daily Mail. Right, we're going to take a couple of minutes. I know we've only not been on long, half hour, but I need to go and get some painkillers and then we will be back. And we'll wait for this to catch up. Why has it took us to that? And no. Is that one? Give me 2 seconds and I'll sort this out. But I don't know why this is doing it. Right. That's not right. Hey, there we go. Hang on, wrong page. That's why. Still getting to learn how to do all this. Supposed to be all lined up, but right. So let's go through some of the stories that are on my page. We've got wealth tax. Have a look at the wealth tax. Right. Why the wealth tax is utter rubbish and be debunked over and over times. The wealth tax was tried and failed in 12 European countries. Most banned it over time due to the economy and practical challenges. Australia, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, Iceland, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Norway, Spain, and Sweden. And then, if we go into the actual ascension, Austria implemented a wealth tax until 1994, when it was repealed due to high administration costs and economic burden on businesses like private firms, nightmare, and the tax drove capitalists out. Denmark had a wealth tax until 1997, and they lost money. We've got France, we've got Iceland, Luxembourg, Norway, Sweden, and they all lost money. Germany actually found it unconstitutional, but people will keep telling you that a wealth tax will work. They can make it work. You can't make a wealth tax because that's from international wealth. Are you going to say how much they're worth in that country? So it's only on what they have assets in that country. They're going to move everything out. But the left don't understand this. Every single day, all you get is wealth tax, wealth tax, wealth tax. And this is my channel. You can come on, you can speak to me, you can reply. I try and reply if I can. If people are just abusive, I just mute them and move on. I haven't got time for all that anymore. I'm too old and I don't care. Right, so now we're going to go to our next one. When people tell you Dow Jones is crashing under Trump, it was 8% of Biden's leadership. For 8% of Biden's leadership, it was actually a lot lower. Towards the end of Biden's leadership, when they found out that Trump was coming back in, it shot back up. Are we surprised? No, because Biden was asleep. Let's be honest about it. But we have to ignore that bit, because the left, the media, and the morons that we call the puppets, who only watch CNN, BBC, and all that, I don't watch any of them. They're either left-leaning, right-leaning. I'm right-leaning. Can't deny that. Far right, no, I don't agree with them. Far left, I don't agree with them. I talk to the left, I talk to the right, I talk to the people in the middle. Because you have to. I even talk to the far right and far left. Until they just start getting abusive, and then I just mute them and move on. I've had threats, I've had abuse, and I will get abused because of my size, because of the way that I look, because my teeth are a certain way. But you shouldn't care about it. You have to live your life the way you live it. And if people don't like that, who cares? You're more important for your life than anyone else. They're not there for you. They're not there to help you. You're there for you. And some people don't understand that. Go out and find the evidence for yourself. When I put tweets up, as much as I can, I will put the evidence right next to it. I will put where I found it, if I found it, or I will put the media source underneath. I'll put the video up. Most of mine has videos with it, so people can see it. Alright, let's see what the next story is. Trump puts his up. Only the weak will fail. Yeah, only the weak businesses will fail. And they often do. Businesses go out of business every day. And that's what happens sometimes. And there's not really much more you can say about that one. I put this tweet up today and people got upset with me. Jailed paedophiles who sexually abuse children. They're supposed to get treated like they're special people. Or treating politicians, political prisoners like Tommy Robinson, who I do not agree with 80% of the time. Would get treated like terrorists because the UK jails are unsafe for non-Muslims. We haven't got control of our jails anymore. Even friends that have been in and out. I know people that are in and out all the time. I've had a friend that's gone back now for petty crimes, and he will never learn. But as he said, the Islamists in prison get treated 100% better than the non-Muslims. And that's for every colour. And as he said, a lot of prisons now, if you do not agree with the Islamist way, you're in trouble. Let's just put it that way. You get in a lot of trouble. Right, let's move on. IDF and ISIS eliminate Mohammed Hassan Mohammed Awad, whatever his name is, a senior military commander in the Palestinian Mujahideen Brigade. And I'll put Bernie Nell scumbag. I think every terrorist, this is the best thing for them. I don't care if you're a terrorist from any religion, any colour. It does not matter. The best place for you is in a box. Be careful. There we go. That's right. So, we'll move on to this one. The price of the crude oil has dropped from £65 a barrel for the first time, underneath £65, a barrel for the first time since August 2021. But will they pass the savings on to you? And I think it should be law. I think it should be law that customers have to receive the discount when the barrels or the pricing is low. I think it should be matched in. And I think any company that doesn't do it should be charged a lot of money. And then they will start passing on the cost, because they're not. At the moment, they're just keeping it as profit for themselves. And that is the problem. Right, let's move on. Why is it always, oh, because she's a white girl, or because she's this? Everything has to be about colour. Or is it that she's a better player and she's more entertaining? That could be the thing. That could be the thing that people are happier with. Because she's more entertaining and she plays a lot better basketball. Even the male player said she's one of the better players. But it always has to be about race. And that is the problem in our world. Oh, this one I made a joke about. She was dying for an orgasm. Deep. Gets right to your heart. Well, not that deep. She may have had an orgasm. So she left her husband when she found out she was terminally ill to go and sleep with 200 men to see if she could have an orgasm. So you get told you're going to die. So the first thing you think is, oh, I want to go out and sleep around. But all the time that she was ill, her husband was looking after her. It says a lot more about the woman, not this actress, but the woman that actually did it, than anything else. But people go, oh, you can't really talk about it that way. She's dying. You can still be a scumbag and die. Lots of them do every single day. And because she's a woman, you can't say that. She's just being liberated. If that was a man going around doing it to 200 women, you'd be saying, oh, he's not a worthwhile man. He's this, he's that. But because it's a woman, she's liberated. When it's a man, it's a total different subject. What else can we go through? Should we see what else we got? Oh, yes. Marine Le Pen. So the French court that abused the laws to take political opposition out of the game for the presidency may be overturned in 2026. They've already been said they're going to have the court case before 2026. I think it's just a political stitch-up, but that's my opinion. You've got yours, I've got mine. If you don't like mine, skip the video. Don't have to come to my page. Alright? Fair enough? I won't bother you. You don't have to bother me. But my opinion is it's a political stitch-up. You look at Romania and other places. The EU, at the moment, are more like Germany, 1930 to 1938, than ever before. And I'll tell you why. I'll be blunt. They're getting rid of political oppositions. They're removing them any way they can. They're trying to ban the IDF in Germany. Everyone's going, oh, but they're far right. No, most of the people, all the Nazis from Germany moved to America to work for them. This is the thing that a lot of you do not actually read up on. You think that Nazi Germany is what it was back then. It's nothing like that. But you're doing the same actions. You're acting the same way. And people can't get that through their heads. It's you at the moment. Germany now is trying to overcompensate for what it did in World War Two. It will never be able to pay back what it did in World War One or World War Two. It's as simple as that. But at some point, you've got to move on. We still don't go, oh my God, what the Romans did. We don't go, oh my God, this is what China did, Japan did. No. You have to move on at a certain point. You do not repeat it though. And this is what Europe is doing at the moment. Europe is doing exactly what Nazi Germany was trying to do, but it's doing it by the political. It wants everyone to go under one banner. It wants everyone to follow one rule. That's not what country's about. When you go to somewhere like Saudi Arabia, I don't go, oh, well, they've got to follow my rules. They've got to follow my laws. They've got to follow what I do. I obey by their rules. I went to Tunisia a few years back. Me and my girlfriend had to follow their rules. I couldn't think, well, I'm going over there and I'm going to do what I do in the UK. She couldn't wear what she wore in the UK in a lot of places, especially when we was going out and about, when we went to Jamaica. Lovely country. But you have to stick to their laws and their rules. You have to be a lot more careful. Where else? America. When we went to America. When we went to Mexico, we was warned by a lot of things. Don't do this. Don't flash your money around. Don't do that. Stay together. Don't get split up. And you stick to their rules. But the EU at the moment is trying to break up anyone that doesn't want the EU to be a bloc anymore. And the EU has to think. The problem is with the EU, it's more about power than it is the people. The EU is sitting on a recession, but they want to go and play with China now because the US has put tariffs on them. China doesn't care about the EU. And they're going to say, oh, well, neither does America. America has paid for a lot in the EU for a lot of years. It's owed a bit of leeway. It's owed a bit of money back. They've put tariffs on the EU because the EU have tariffs on the US. The EU cut the tariffs, the US will cut the tariffs. That's fair. But we'll get back to the story. I did go off on a tangent. Macron and Marine Le Pen will go to court next year. I think it'll get overturned and she will be able to be the next Prime Minister of France. So, Trump tariffs are already working. Vietnam have already said that they're going to make tariffs 0. So Trump said, well, if you make yours 0, we will make ours 0. We can do a deal. This is what other countries should be doing with them. The UK should say, look, we're going to open up so we can import your meat. It's cheaper, bigger bulk, lowering costs in the supermarkets for people over here. And I get, yes, our farmers are going to struggle a bit more. But for the people on no incomes, which is a lot of people in the UK, a lot of people are struggling under Labour. If I've got a choice to go out now and buy a leg of lamb for £40, or I can go out and buy a leg of lamb for £20 because it comes from America, I'm going to buy the £20 one. Because I'm going to cook it, I'm going to season it, and then I'm going to eat it. So that's 20 quid down the drain. But that's better than 40 quid down the drain just to eat. And that's what a lot of people, oh yeah, but think all the time, I don't care how long the farmers and that have put into it. That's their job. I know they're getting royally ripped off by the Labour government at the moment in the UK. But that's the job they picked. If they don't want to do it, don't do it. But they should get benefits for doing it on such a low wage. They shouldn't have to pay the death tax. But that's a different story, and we will cover that probably in another one. But I don't think anyone should pay inheritance tax. The money has already been taxed. The government are just taxing you twice on the same amount of money. And people get upset with that. It's just a fact. So people keep saying that the job market is crashing in the United States. And we're not going to get as many jobs as we was estimated. Estimated jobs was 140,000. The actual job numbers for the US was 228,000. Cheers, whoever else is watching on YouTube. Thank you very much. Yep. Increased, overestimated 88,000. So, Trump is creating jobs while he's trying to bring money back to the US and expand the US. People don't like that. I don't understand why the left is not happy that more jobs are coming back to the US. And they say, oh, but what about people in China? A US government or a UK government's job is not to support China. It is to support their own people. This will upset a lot of people. But this is what we call life. I didn't vote an MP in to support Ukraine, Russia, Israel, Palestine. I vote an MP in to support my local people and my local community. And Trump is creating jobs for the people. Some people don't like Trump because of whatever it is. His hair, his looks, the way he is, the brash, the way he's around the women. But that's Trump. And that's who he's going to be. He's not going to change now. Hang on, let's see if we can get this to play.
Somebody's going to get killed here. You're doing it to Supreme Court justices, elected
You
officials.
should never dox anyone.
You
I
see
don't
what's
care if they're
happening
your
at
worst
Tesla,
enemy. You don't dox
dealerships
people.
and charging stations around the country. What's your reaction now that it's happening to you?
Well, look, I'm not going to be bullied. I'm not going to be intimidated. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. Like you said, the border numbers are historic low. Sean, I started in 1984 as a border agent. I've never seen
97 people last week.
This is historic. And tomorrow, ICE is going to hit 50,000 arrests in the interior. And more than 35,000 of them are significant public safety threats. I was looking at the numbers earlier. 3,749 dangerous drug convictions. 1,042 aliens with weapons convictions. 969 illegal aliens with sexual assault convictions.
Jesus Christ. That's mad. Who would let all these people into their country?
We're not going to stop. But based on what you just talked with Lindsey Graham, I want to double down what you said, Sean. If we don't get the money, we can't arrest the most significant public safety threats in this country. We need money to do the operations. We need money to buy beds. We need money for airplane flights. We need money to detail agents to sanctuary cities. We need money or this stuff's going to slow down.
You can't really disagree with Tom Holman there. People with criminal records should not be allowed into your country. Full stop. People should not be allowed to be able to break into your country. Full stop. Everyone should be vetted and everyone should be made sure that they are safe for the people of that country. I understand people are fleeing. I know people that are fleeing and that. The difference is, as they said, they did it legally to get here in the end. They didn't break our laws. They're not here to do anyone harm, and the majority of them aren't. But without vetting every single person, how do you know that? So you can't really disagree with Tom Holman on this one. Some people will, but that's their opinion. Oh, this is the Laura Loomer story. Let's have a look at this one.
National Security Council officials, but
Let's go back to the beginning. Everyone seems to be upset that Trump knows Laura Loomer. I know hardly anything about her. I think she's a bit of a nut job. But that's my opinion. You have your opinion. I've seen that she's done some good reporting on some things, and I've seen that she's total nuts on other things, as I would say it. But it's her opinion. But let's see how the left are losing it over what she's been doing with Trump, talking to Trump. They're trying to make out it's an affair. I think Trump's going to go for how can I put it nicely, a lot nicer lady if he was going to cheat when he's getting women throwing themselves at him.
tonight, bloodbath, and we're not talking about the markets. This is now new information that we are learning about President Trump here at CNN, that he has fired multiple National Security Council officials. But by the way, this is not about Signal. This is not about Pete Hegseth or Michael Waltz. No, this is about something else. This is because far-right conspiracy theorist Laura Loomer, who has baselessly claimed 9/11 was an inside job, told him that he should get rid of a bunch of people. Sources tell CNN that Loomer met with Trump in the Oval Office yesterday. Trump's chief of staff, Susie Wiles, and top national security advisor Mike Waltz were there. So that's why I'm telling you Mike Waltz was obviously not on the list. Loomer presented a list of about a dozen staffers, our reporters are told, and told Trump that these people were disloyal. And the president then praised Loomer when asked about CNN's reporting moments ago.
Laura Loomer is a very good patriot. She is a very strong person. And I saw her yesterday for a little while. She makes
So Trump likes some nut jobs, don't we all?
And sometimes I listen to those recommendations.
I've dated a lot of them.
With everybody. I listen to everybody and then I make a decision.
Nut jobs.
But I
Just to make that
understand
clear.
what both of you are saying, and maybe you could criticize me for coming back on this, but I will say I can't get over the messenger, and I can't get over the fact that Trump is okay with this messenger, David. I mean, let's just go through Laura Loomer, okay?
If the messenger is
She
correct in what they
suggested 9/11
say,
was an inside job.
it shouldn't
She has
matter.
questioned whether school shootings are real. She posted, David, and I'm not saying you're
Yeah,
defending
see,
what
I
she's posted.
can't
I'm just
believe
making a point
CNN
to
because
everybody
everything they've
watching.
said before is a
Have you noticed
liar.
There's always a school shooting in a swing state or caucus state right before an election. She talked about Kamala Harris saying
Is
if
that
she was
true?
elected, the White House will smell like curry. Marjorie Taylor Greene denounced her. So I come back to all of this because
The
you
thing
can't
is,
take
like the Curry comment, that's just an idiot wanting to get a reaction, and it got what she wanted. If you look, it got exactly what she wanted there. 6.5 million views. So people viewed it because people were talking about it. This is what a lot of the left don't get. A lot of people say a lot of things just for the reaction. Look at Kanye West. It's for the reaction. There's Trump saying it again. Oh, the gold card. Let's have a look at the gold card. This is funny. The left have been losing it. Trump's £5 million gold card and you can be a US citizen. And a lot of people will be taking this up. I guarantee it.
$1 million could be. That was the first of the cards. And then, you know what that card is? It's the gold card. The Trump card, gold card.
Who's the first buyer?
Me. I'm
the second?
I don't know, but I'm the first buyer. It'll be out in about less than 2 weeks, probably.
So Trump is actually going to do it. £5 million to be, well, $5 million, sorry. So about 4 million quid to become an American citizen. Well, I think it's to live in America. I'm not sure if citizen or whatever else it is. Which is a lot of different people from different countries want to go to America with money, but they can't because of restrictions from their own country, or they want to just be dual citizens. So, if it's going to help the US get out of its deficit, why not? Most of the time, they're only paying back interest payments, which is not going to help anyone. Let me see what the next one is. Oh, this is the Hamas. Give me 2 seconds, I've got to get a drink. Right. This is the big story at the moment that everyone can't seem to understand why Hamas lied. I'm trying to do it on the wrong screen. I've got to learn this better. Hamas does not mind kids dying. It forces people to stay in areas being bombed so the West will support them. And that's why they killed so many kids. Just because they wanted the West to support them. They was making them stay in areas and they used them as cannon fodder, as we used to say. But now they admit that 72% of the deaths are combat-aged men and radically reduce actually civilian death toll. So these people that people kept saying, oh no, they're kids. They were child soldiers, as we call them. The Congo have hundreds of thousands of them. But no one cares. Do you know why? Because they're not being tapped by Israel. But we overlook it. No? And this is the problem with the world. We care when it's one part of the world, but not when it's the other. A great man once says, the EU think that their problems are the world's problems. But the world's problems are never the EU's problems. Because it doesn't care when it hasn't got to do with the EU. Like the tariffs and that. But this will go on. People support them. People don't care about the kids. Let's be honest about it. If Hamas was shooting them in the street, as they have been, people would watch it and go, that was because of Israel, because they hate them. That would be the excuse. They could see the scumbags that you can see in the picture walk up, kill someone, a child, and they'd go, the Jews did it. Why? Just because they're Jewish. And this is the mentality that you've got. And people criticise me for this. I had death threats and that because I said stuff like this when the war started. I got abuse, I got threats years ago when I used to even be on YouTube. All the time. I'd done hundreds of videos on there. I got abuse, I got threats. On my old Twitter account got actually demonetized and destroyed because I got threatened. I got doxxed. And they shut it down for my safety. And because I replied something silly, which was a joke from Jimmy Carr. Because someone was threatening to kill me. Because I wouldn't take the knee to Hamas or Hezbollah. So, let's go to the next one. Let's see what J.D. Vance has got to say.
But we care the most about American workers and about American small businesses, and they're
as the
ones
leaders
who are
of
really
that
gonna
country
benefit from these
should.
policies. Think about how many factories we've seen closed down since NAFTA in the early 90s. 90,000 American factories have been
90,000
small towns
jobs.
that have been blighted.
Well,
That's
companies
millions of
shut
workers
down.
who have lost their jobs.
Millions
That has to stop.
of workers. That's horrendous.
That's where you're from. Town where you had 10,000
And they're coming
great
back,
American
and that's
steel
the best
workers,
thing
and
for
my
it.
town was one of the lucky ones. Now probably has 1,500 steel workers in that factory because you had economic policies that rewarded shipping our jobs to China instead of investing in American workers. And that's what President Trump, he ran on changing it, he promised he would change it, and now he has. And I think Americans are going to reap the benefits. But we care the most
And
about
that's the best
American
thing for.
workers and about American.
That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to look after your country. You're supposed to look after your people. You're not supposed to support the world. You're not supposed to look after the world. Don't get me wrong. If another country needs help because it's going to war with another one or something like that, then sometimes you have to step in. 100% agree with that. We've learnt that since World War II. We still haven't forgot that the US sat out for the first, I think it was a year or two until it was attacked. It stayed out of it mainly. But sometimes you have to step in. But the US cannot police the world. It is not fair on the US to pay for it, to pay to support the world. What's this one? Oh, this is the... Hang on. So the next one is for vaccine. Should vaccine manufacturers be held to account when their vaccines fail? Like thalidomide children and stuff like that? I think they should. I don't think any business or anything like that should be able to get away with it. But we'll have a watch to what she says, see if we agree or not.
For or against House Bill 3441. Seeing none, the chair recognizes Representative Luther to close on the bill.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman and Madam Vice Chair. I want to thank all of you for participating in this conversation and being interested in this topic. I fully vaccinated both of my girls. I am not anti-vax. I fully believe that many of the vaccines we have today have saved countless lives. But the system that we have today is the result of our decision to test a thesis that was made in 1986 when we passed the National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act. And the thesis ultimately was that we could improve health outcomes by eliminating accountability for those outcomes. What a thesis. I'd say, I think we're getting exactly what our...
So they thought they'd get a better outcome by allowing any vaccine that was made to be tested on your kids without any reprisals to the vaccine company. How is that a good thing? Without accountability, kids die, like thalidomide and other things. People seem to not understand that. Without accountability, people do not care. If you've got somewhere, like I've worked on sites where there is no accountability and people got hurt all the time. Then I've worked on sites where there's a lot of accountability and there will be injuries every now and then, but they will be rare as rocking horse.
System incentivizes, which is efficiency and speed of development. In the case of COVID-19, we rushed a vaccine to market with so little testing that we didn't have a set list of defined injuries for which our injury compensation fund could compensate individuals. Bureaucrats working in the CICP were left to make judgment calls on a case-by-case basis, according to a report by the U.S. Government Accountability Office. Those weren't adopted until April of last year. The result of our choice to incentivize speed of development over safety and reliability has been devastating by any metric. Public trust in our medical institutions and medical community is at an all-time low. God forbid we actually experience a similar emergency situation, and maybe we develop a vaccine that works well and is truly safe, but the public won't go for it. And under the current situation we have right now, and public trust aside, real people are getting hurt, and there's no incentive for these manufacturers.
There is no public trust anymore in vaccines or that. Doctors, to be honest. My one mixed up 2 medications that gave me a heart attack. And their answer was, ooh, this happens. And then I looked up how many people die each year. And I know in the UK it's about 10,000 people die because of medical malpractice or misconduct, I think they class it as, where they can link it back to a doctor's fault. That will be overdose on medication, wrong medication, mixed medication, and stuff like that.
To insist on their product being safe before taking it to the market. So when we look at the advertisement that's taking place, when we see Pfizer paying for Super Bowl commercials and paying pro football players to act as a vaccine spokesperson and paying them millions of dollars, I understand why.
Sorry.
It's an attempt to repair reputation. But there's no way to circumvent the public's understanding.
She was saying
that it is
something
their
else
loved
there,
one
lads.
that is injured, and there's no recourse, and the company responsible will feel no agony over it. In some ways, that vaccines are advertised, especially during COVID, were based on social and emotional pressure rather than providing accurate information to patients. We are begging for truth and transparency from our government for all Texans. Beyond this social pressure, many people were forced to participate in what was essentially a drug trial on the public by being threatened with losing their jobs or being unable to live normal lives if they chose not to get vaccinated. And for those who suffered adverse outcomes, there is generally no recourse. We recognize that the federal government has adopted a stance on manufacturers being held liable for vaccine injury. With this bill, I'm encouraging Texas to lead. And
the company should be. I'm sorry, I know people that have got illnesses since taking the vaccines that they never had before, and it happened literally within weeks of taking their 2nd or 3rd vaccine. Some even their 1st one. I wouldn't know. 100% didn't take the vaccine because I had COVID before we had a vaccine, and it didn't affect me at all. I've had the flu worse, but that's my own situation.
At the very least, expect those who try to convince the public to take a vaccine through advertising, they take accountability. Right now, this bill has 60 co-authors and 3 joint authors, including both Democrats and Republicans. This is a bipartisan issue. Let's take the first step in challenging the existing system we have that is harming public health and confidence of our public health system in so many ways. And to the vaccine manufacturers, if you believe that your vaccine is safe as advertised, I challenge you to put your money where your mouth is. Thank you, members and Mr. Chair. I appreciate your time. I respectfully ask for your favorable report, and I close on the bill.
Well, she's not wrong. If you say that your drugs are safe to take, you should be willing to take the consequences. We see that Blizzard Entertainment got DDoSed again. And this keeps happening. There's got to be a better system in place for Blizzard Entertainment not to keep getting these attacks. And I know that it's hard to do if anyone has anything to do with programming or computers and stuff like that. You understand what's going on, and it's not that hard to do. On this mass scale, it is hard to do this scale. But Blizzard, as a multi-billion-dollar company now owned by Windows, needs to do more. Do more for its player base and do more for the people that have been loyal over 20 years. And some of us do play games. I play games. I love World of Warcraft. I haven't played in a little while. I play other games. I don't play them online anymore. I might go back to it. But this channel will be for news. It won't show my games or anything if I'm playing them. But yeah, I think the company for a start needs to do more, and I think that would probably change a lot of the attacks on them. People just feel like they're ripping them off lately. No idea who this rep is, but we listen to what she's got to say.
We might call this getting strike ready. I think of it as
So
getting us strike ready or street ready. And part of that is understanding our own strength, and as we develop that strength, being able to
Strike
assess
ready and
our
street
risk
ready.
tolerance, because we know that risk
It
tolerance
sounds like cities are going to
increases
burn again
as
because of the
severity of the
Democrats.
situation increases, and as our own understanding of what's happening increases. So overall, the more we understand what's effective, what the risks are, and who's ready to participate, the more impact we can have. We might call this getting...
Yeah, it sounds like they're going to try and burn streets and cities again. But do you know why? Because it's coming to the summer. They haven't done it in the winter because it's too cold. But they're doing it in the summer and think that it's a block party. But if the law lets them get away with it, they'll keep doing it. In the UK, we had the Palestinian protests. They get violent. Everyone says they're not violent. Even when they beat people, beat reporters and that. It's not just you Americans that have got the nut jobs in government. We've got people like this that sit in Labour, Lib Dems and that think it's fine. It's okay for people to walk along the street and say death to the West. That anyone that's not Islamic should die. We get, oh no, they're just stating their opinion. But then we get a woman praying by a church in the UK and she'll get arrested and she'll get sentenced. The world is a mad place at the minute. Oh, this is a funny one. Should we listen to what Mark Carney's got to say? At the moment, after guns have been taken away and drugs and that from Canada, Mark Carney thinks that his country is doing well. Someone said that. Let me see if I can find it actually. Give me 2 seconds. I just want to get the actual facts. Right. So let's start this off again. Canada, I think, has what I was told earlier from a Canadian. The let's have a look. I ain't got a clue what that is. Okay, so this is saying, as far as I can see, since January 2025, since January 2024, fentanyl has increased through Canada. There's been 335 incidents with fentanyl, 99 with fentanyl being produced in mass quantity in Canada, enough to kill all Canadians 5 times over. But that's what they've found. So what's escaped? And then we've got Mark, I think it's Mark Carney, ain't it? I don't know what his name. Mark Carney, who's an EU stooge that would join the EU, Canada to the EU as fast as he could if he could. This is him being a joke and saying that he will lead the world. He can't even lead his own country.
Canada is ready to take a leadership role in building a coalition of like-minded countries who share our values.
He wants an EU.
We believe in international cooperation. We believe in the free and open exchange of goods, services, and ideas. And if the United States no longer wants to lead, Canada will.
Canada can lead its way out of the dark, let's be honest about it. And that's not me being nasty. Britain at the moment can lead its way out of the dark. And we've got a bigger army, I think. I think we've got bigger Air Force and Navy and that than Canada. I don't know why people come out and say this. We will lead. When your country's a shithole, let's be honest about it. You ain't leading no one. You can't even lead yourself, brother. But you're going to get muppets like this from everyone. You get Starmer, who couldn't, let's be honest, is a wet paper bag. I've seen more charisma out of a turd in the street than I do out of Labour lady. Or you get out of them, or if you say anything bad about us, we get you arrested. Well, arrest me then, brother. What more do you want me to say? It won't take 5 minutes to find out where I am. My names are on the channels. My addresses are on the channels. But it's just madness. Absolute madness. It's a bit like when Africa was saying about it will lead the world. Mate, you can't even lead your people out of poverty. Let's not start being brave saying that you're going to lead the world. You need leaders that are looking after their own country. Then you can help the world. Until you've sorted out your own country, you can't lead anything. Oh, yeah, this is the other one. All right, let's put it nicely. Right, so Sajid Khan, the mayor of London, where I was born, that now is unrecognisable. It's an actual crap hole. Let's be honest about it. You go to London now, you're not safe. So many robberies. I think there's a phone robbery like every 20 minutes or 5 minutes. There's a stabbing nearly every single day. Last time I went up to a place called Enfield, I was getting off the train and some geezer got stabbed. That was a few years back. I ain't been up there since. I wouldn't use transport up there anymore. Peckham, Finchley Road, had a few stabbings when I used to work up there on the underground and that. Bounds Green, Tottenham, a few other places. And you'd see these men of a night with these young girls And the police are going, nothing to do with us. They go, oh, it could be their parents, it could be this. And you're like, no. You can tell they're not their parents. And people go, oh, well, that's racist. If I see any girl out at 1, 2 in the morning, even with their father, if you are walking the streets, I think there's a problem. But I think the police and that are so used to seeing it, especially in the UK, they don't care. And they're scared to being called racist, which has been proven in paper after paper. The police don't want to get involved because they could look racist, or as they say in Britain, it could destroy diversity and inclusion. Diversity and inclusion that we've got in the UK. In other words, that's called, we will sacrifice your children for a vote. We will sacrifice your children so we can be politically correct. I don't care if you're white, black, brown, pink, green or orange. If you abuse a kid, you have 2 options. Jail for the rest of your life or an organ donor. That should be the only 2 options you have. Not, oh, well, we're going to let you go because you didn't understand. We're going to let you go because you're an alcoholic. We're going to let you go because you didn't understand you was doing wrong by raping a 12-year-old. No, that judge should be fired immediately and prosecuted as well. But we don't do that crap in the UK because we are too weak on crime. We are too weak on the people. Plus our jails are full of other people from other countries. I think we got like 10,000 spaces full because we keep scumbags from other countries, because when they leave jail we can't send them back because they might be prosecuted over there for abusing a kid. Oh, this is Keir Starmer. We're going to go on to our next one. Keir Starmer now. If you want to chat, please put in chat. I will reply if I see it. We've got a couple of people from different platforms now. Thank you very much to all of you. Keir Starmer, right? So we'll go back to the beginning to listen to what the Muppet says. I mean, what our Prime Minister says.
Vote for change in your neighbourhood. Vote for change in your high street.
We're voting out Labour.
Labour Council that will work hand in hand with a Labour government on our plan for change.
What? Birmingham, Labour Council, we have trash everywhere because they've got strikes on and they can't get help in to do the bins. We've got so many people that could go out on the bins from the Dole office and pick the rubbish up. But we don't do that because it's not fair on the people that are not working. No, you chose to strike. You chose not to work. So we've made alternate. Get the army in. You don't let the streets get like a crap hole with rats and that running round. I think it was 60% of Labour councils had the rape gangs in them, where the MPs and councillors can be connected to looking the other ways and knowing about it, but did nothing about it. All of them should be up in court and prosecuted for that. Let's listen to what the twat's got to say.
Not for parties that continue to put themselves before the country.
So Labour. Labour told the kids to be quiet after they got raped for diversity and inclusion and for the Islamic vote. This is a fact.
I'm not just talking about the Tories. I'm talking about reform as well. They say they want to run the country. They can't even run themselves.
Labour's had people leave them and defect. I think they've had like 40 odd or 50, I think, councillors leave them so far because Labour can't run themselves.
You can literally fit their MPs now in the back of a cab, but they still don't know where they're going. They talk the language of workers' rights. They talk it all right, online, sometimes on the doorstep. But what do? They voted against banning hire and refire. They voted against scrapping exploitative zero-hour contracts. They voted against sick leave.
Some people need 0-hour contracts because if they do, say they get 16-hour contract, and this is stupid in the UK. They get a 16-hour contract. Everyone goes, oh, that's great. But if they work a minute over that 16 hours, so they're going to earn, they do 2 extra hours. So they earn £20 or £24, whatever it is now, the wage has gone up to. That could be £150 they lose from their child's benefits or that for £20. That's how stupid it works.
And maternity pay, that's what they do. And what about the NHS? They want to charge people for using our NHS. They claim to be the party of...
Yes, we should charge foreigners. They haven't paid for our NHS, as he puts it. Anyone coming into the country to get an operation or to have medical treatment that is not from the UK should pay. When I went to America, I had to have insurance. When my girlfriend got ill, we had to use our insurance. When we had medical treatment on a cruise that we took a long time ago now, and she got really sick, we had to use our medical insurance. But we had to be covered, or we couldn't go.
Patriotism. I'll tell you this. There's nothing patriotic about fawning over Putin. No.
He didn't fawn over Putin. He's talking about 12 years ago when he said that he respected Putin as a leader. You have to respect Putin as a leader because he's run Russia for so long. You have to respect China's leader because he's been a leader for so long. You can't say these are idiot men running countries for the last 10, 15 years. This is what they don't get. I don't agree with them. I think they are savages. But you can compliment them saying that they're not stupid.
They will not deliver the change for working people they need. They'll not deliver change for Britain.
Well, Labour hasn't done the change. They've increased tax for business and for people. Burden. People have had enough of it. The tax burden's increased on businesses and people. I know people that have been laid off because of the tax burden on their companies. I know 2 companies that have gone under because they cannot afford it. They can't afford the tax and that in the low parts, in the quiet parts of work. Like at the moment, it's still quiet zone. Now a couple of months, their business pick up for 6-7 months. But they try and keep people on for the whole year. So even when they got dribs and drabs, they still pay them the full wage and that. So they keep their business turning over, but they can't do that anymore. I think the local pub said their prices, I don't know what tax or that they pay on pubs. I've never owned a pub, never run a pub. I think it works out about 70 grand more he's got to pay a year for the tax hikes that the Labour government have given him. He can't survive that. As he said, he looks like he's going to have to shut. Big brewery will buy it. Or, like many pubs, it will just shut and disappear. That's tariffs. Oh, this is one of them. Do you think... Everyone says about the environment, oh, we've got to save the environment. Let's be honest about it. The UK can't do anything about CO2 levels. Even if we do nothing, by 2030, well, at the moment we're less than 1% of CO2 emissions. If we do 0, no green taxes, no green energy, blah, 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 we will be at 0.2% of worldwide emissions by 2030 because China is increasing theirs by 15%, I think it's India is increasing theirs by 12 to 15%. Pakistan is also increasing theirs, and Africa is going to start building power stations, coal and a lot more coal and that power stations. So we will be down to 0.2% if we did absolutely nothing. And that data, I've got it on my website. You can have a look at myself on Twitter. It's the same, Sledger89 opinions. 89. Sledger81 news and opinions. And that's across all platforms. Or otherwise, Sledger81 news and opinions. I think it's on every platform. Sledger89, Jesus Christ, what am I thinking of? Inflation, that's what I was thinking. Right, let's have a look at this one. This is not saving the environment. That looks disgusting. All of that you can see are wind turbines and solar panels. But that's saving the countryside. That's not saving the countryside. That's not countryside now. The toxic crap that comes out of them is going to destroy the environment. The chemicals in the floor, the chemicals from them once they get smashed through a bit of hailstones and that, like many of them did around here. We had hailstones. All got smashed. And it was costing, I think they said, thousands upon thousands to go and repair the ones that got smashed. That's what people don't think about. Modern day London, that's walking around with half a cow. Literally, that's half a cow that they've just killed halal and moving it around London. This is the normal now in London. That is the problem. Our country has gone down the pan. Absolutely crap pit at a minute. And we haven't got the leaders to fix it. The Labour government won't fix it. The Tory government didn't do anything, and now they're claiming they will. And Farage would disappear to America if he thought he was getting some more money. He hasn't done enough. After he stood down people at the last election, the last election, a lot of people, not the last one, sorry, the one before that, because he won some this time. A lot of people won't trust him again. This is Democrats would drive alone, but they can't take it to come to crime. These are the sort of people still breaking, scratching Teslas because they're morons. Most of the people that own a car are liberals like them, who bought it before they got upset with Elon for saving them billions. We already did that in a different story. Saving absolutely billions. I think it's 180 odd billion. 108, I think. Let's have a look. Hang on, let me have a look. Give me 2 seconds and we will look at Dodge. Savings. We'll have a look at the Dodge. 140 billion, 869 pounds, $169, 57 cents for every taxpayer in America Dodge has saved so far. That's madness. And for Elon doing that, you get idiots like this. But they're not the nuts. They're not the crazy side, according to everyone. It's everyone else. I have to be careful with some of these. Oh, This one's another good one. Another Dodge Vandal. A mother vandalises a Tesla in front of her children. One of the kids even sticks their fingers up at the camera, so the kids know the camera's there, but the mum don't. But why are people like this? We'll watch it. Look. Look at the mum, look. And to be honest, she looks like, with that badge there. Oh, I don't even know what that is. That's disappeared. Let me see. Is that one gone? I don't know where that's gone. I'll find it later. Sorry, that's just framing that as one of my little windows are gone. Ah, there we go. Right. So, if you look there, there's a red ID, a badge ID. So, she looks like she must work close, somewhere near, where she needs an ID. Right. We'll get back to this. So it just threw me because one of my documents just disappeared. Oh, this one's fun as well. All right. So now we're going to listen to Jasmine Crockett. I don't know, it's Crockett. I don't know. Special needs congresswoman. Should we just say that one? There you go. Brags about being a DEI. Why the hell would you brag about that? You got hired because of your colour, because everyone else knew you as a moron. Let's have a listen.
Say because you've been gracious. Is this. When I first became a public defender, I had no criminal defense experience. And I walked in and I told my boss, Charlie, I said, listen, you should hire me. He said, why? I said, because I'm black. Charlie looked at me like I was crazy. Say because you.
So she admits she was only hired because she was black. I would like to see, actually, how many cases she won and lost. If it was unproportionate to other people. Because if she was losing cases and she was hired just because she was black, whoever hired her should be prosecuted as well as her. I think that's fair enough. I don't think anyone should be hired because of their colour. I think it should be because you're the best person for the job. I do not want a doctor operating on me because they're a DEI. I don't want a white doctor operating on me because he's white. I want the best doctor. Like the doctor that repaired my shoulder. He was from China. Great doctor. Keyhole surgery, repaired a 50% rotary cuff. Rebuilt it. Still not perfect, but as I was told by other doctors, he was one of the best doctors in the country at the time. And that is the only thing that should matter when being hired. Are you the best person for the job? What is your experience? Because qualifications, yes, as a doctor and that, you need qualifications. But in a lot of jobs now, it's what experience have you got is more important. I think I've covered this one, but we'll cover it again. Right, so.
No.
The problem with this, what do you think? A lot of people will say that the dog is the problem. I don't think the dog is the problem at all. I'll tell you what I think the problem is. Oh. The kid. The kid is the problem. Because his parents haven't taught him how to be around animals and what disrespectful is. Because I guarantee that he hits people with that ball. Because he wouldn't go up and do it to a dog. And the thing is, he doesn't just do it once or twice. The parents just stand there and the mum runs away like an idiot. I think it's the mum. Someone runs away, whoever's looking after him.
No.
See? The dad lets him hit him in the hand, look, and he goes back to hit the dog. See? And the mum runs away. That should never happen. Take your kids away from the dogs if you can't control them. It's down to you, the parents, to control your kids. Stop being an arsehole. Can't show that one. There's tariffs. Well, you can show that one, but you can't watch it. Earthquake. Blah, blah, blah. But I think that's all our stories for tonight, mate. We haven't done bad. We've done 2 hours, I think, of streaming. And just chatting about the news. We've had a few people in and out from different platforms. Thank you all for coming and saying hello. To the ones that did, to the ones that didn't. It's okay to sit and lurk. But I think that is me done tonight. My medication makes me want to go to sleep. I'll be back over the weekend. Thank you very much and have a nice day.